What's up, all you mentees? Uncanny Omar here, and it's that time of the week again. Time to take an advanced look at the collected editions dropping from Marvel Comic this week. So, stay tuned. And welcome back, everybody. Before getting started, a huge thank you to David Gabriel and the fine folks at Marvel for sending us advanced copies of these collected editions coming out this week. And that is December 22nd. And on top of that, there's also an Epic Collection that's being reprinted. It's the Doctor Strange Epic Collection, so keep that in mind. Those are usually smaller print runs. So we do have a couple of Epics, continuing the War of the Bounty Hunters, and then a Marvel Masterworks here with Spectacular Spider-Man Volume 4. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at the Mighty Thor first. So here we have Thor Epic Collection, finally, Volume 7. ULIK Unchained, which is interesting because that's one of the last books that's collected in here. So we have the main writings of Jerry Conway, Bill Mantlo, and Roy Thomas, and of course Big John Buscema, Rich Buckler, Sal Buscema, Ervil Jones, and Keith Pollard. You also have the wonderful inks in here of Mike Esposito. And kicking it off with Thor 217. So this collects Thor 217 to 241, Marvel Premiere 26, which is, I think that's the Hercules story, if I'm not mistaken. Marvel Treasury Edition number 3, just material from that, and material from Giant Size Thor number 1. So here we kick it off with a bunch of imposters claiming to be the real Asgardians, and it's up to Thor and his father Odin, along with his friends Sif and Balder, to take down these imposters. And then you can find out exactly who they are. We have beautiful, wonderful images in this particular volume. These are stories I've never read, outside of maybe a couple of them. So it's nice to see like Big John Buscema just kicking all kinds of ass in these stories. And after reading Conan, you know, I didn't. Most of us didn't know this, but he hated drawing superheroes. But the guy was such a pro, you could never tell. I think one of the main things this run is known for is taking it back to the basics of what Roy Thomas and, what Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were doing towards the end of their run. Going back to more of these cosmic adventures, you also see a lot of Hercules in these particular issues. As a matter of fact, I think Hercules sticks around for like 10 issues or so, kind of becoming like a buddy-buddy type of story, almost like Iron Fist and Power Man. But what this is known for is probably this right here, which is the return of Galactus. But not really that, it's more of this guy right here, the first appearance of another Herald of Galactus, and that is Fire-Lord. And this lasts for a while. You also get a new origin of the planet Ego. And it's an interesting take on that character, expanding more and more on, you know, is it really a living planet? You have Thor come back to Earth. So not only is he just doing cosmic stuff, but he's also coming back to Earth. He's trying to see Jane Foster again. And then what is a Thor story without Loki? Like, you can't keep Loki away. It's bound to happen. He comes back looking more ridiculous than ever. Again, Fire-Lord playing a big part in this. And you have ULIK and the Absorbing Man teaming up together towards the end here. And that's where the title ULIK Unchained comes from. And like I mentioned, I think those stories in the back here for the Marvel, let me see if I can find it. The Marvel Premiere is the story of Hercules, if I'm not mistaken. There's Giant Size Thor, which I believe just reprints older annuals. And yeah, so this is it, Marvel Premiere featuring Hercules, wrapping up the story. This is by Bill Mantlo. So it's good to see him show up there. This is after he showed up in the Defenders issues. And then, of course, all the extras in the back. The book retails for $44.99 and has 512 pages. All right, this one I'm going to make really quick because I don't want to spoil what happens exactly in the Darth Vader issues of War of the Bounty Hunters. Because, man, Darth Vader has just had some stellar runs. We had the Gillen run, we had the Charles Soule run, and now we have Greg Pak. And Greg Pak kicked it off nicely with that first issue, giving us one of the biggest cliffhangers in Star Wars history. Not just comic book history. I thought it was one of the biggest cliffhangers in Star Wars in general. The artwork in Darth Vader, for some reason, is always on point. I really like Coley, and I believe it was Greg Land towards the beginning. No, he was doing Star Wars for a while. Whoever was, I can't remember who it was off the top of my head who was drawing Darth Vader for Gillen. But for some reason, they always get these top-notch artists that I enjoy, and some that I haven't really heard of. So, before this, in Volume 2, we had, and for a while now, we had Darth Vader kind of questioning the Emperor. How powerful is the Emperor? Can he really take out the Emperor? And then the Emperor shows him how powerful he can be, and may not have shown his full potential. So Vader's like, all right, cool, man. I'm going to stop messing with you. So that's pretty much where we are now. And of course, all of this taking place after Empire Strikes Back, where Han Solo is frozen in carbonite, and in between that ending of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, there's this whole mission of War of the Bounty Hunters to try to retrieve the carbonite body of Han Solo. And all the bounty hunters are claiming the bounty. That's what this practically is. This has an awesome fight between Darth Vader and IG-88, which doesn't get resolved until the companion. So if you want to check out what happens, you have to get the War of the Bounty Hunters companion. IG-88 is the story that's collected in here. There's a team up here between Darth Vader and Ochi of Bestoon, who's a pretty interesting character. Let me show you. It's this character right here. And that's all I will say about this particular run. The book retails for $17.99. It has 136 pages. Look at the extras in the back. So we have some variants in the back, some in thumbnail form and some in splash pages form. I really like this one right here. This is by J.G. Kirby. And of course, who I was talking about earlier, Giuseppe Camuncoli. And here's another one of the variant covers. This looks like one to be from like the handbook. This is known as the handbook variant. So this collects Darth Vader issues 12 through 17. For all you spine watchers out there, here's what all the spines look like. My Venom got a little scuffed up the way it was shipped here to me, so yours will probably be in mint condition. Or maybe near mint. Alright, let's continue. You all made this happen. Venom Epic Collection Volume 1 sold so well. And as I mentioned just a second ago, mine got banged up on the way here, but it made it here. This is a review copy. Volume 2. And if you watch our Christmas episode, this is probably one of the books I'll be giving away. Actually, this is one of the books I'll be giving away. Live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Christmas Day. So, continuing Venom and Epic Collection. This stuff here has been previously collected in the Spider-Man vs. Venom Omnibus, as well as the Venomnibus Volume 1. So if you have those, you know, and don't want to double dip, then maybe skip this one. Unless Venom's your boy and you're like, I gotta have everything Venom, then of course you're gonna be picking this up. The biggest thing in here is, of course, to me at least, the 3-part introduction of this character known as Cletus Cassidy, the next symbiote, Carnage. And it's all the story of how he ended up becoming a symbiote. Spider-Man's confused at first because there's a bunch of people getting killed. And all signs point to Venom. And Spidey's like, wait a minute, I left Venom on a beach. He thinks I'm dead. And turns out that there's a new symbiote who's a lot more deadlier and a serial killer. This is like what would happen if the Joker became a symbiote. Love it. I love Carnage. I don't care what the Astonishing Melanie says. I know she loves Venom more. But to me, Carnage is just out of mind. Like, anything goes. You never know what he's going to do. And the first 3 issues in here are just top-notch. David Michelinie, Mark Bagley. Oh, I love this stuff. Then we get the Trial of Venom collected in here. This is the one by Peter David. Jim Craig supplying the artwork in here. This was I think it was a mail-away issue. We get the what is this called? The Spirits of Venom storyline in here, which is the crossover with Spirits of Vengeance and Web of Spider-Man. So this collects Amazing Spider-Man 361 and 363, the final pages of 359 and 360 as well. The Trial of Venom one-shot, like I said, that was the mail away. The Web of Spider-Man 95 and 96. Ghost Rider Blaze, Spirits of Vengeance 5 and 6 with wonderful artwork by, let's do it justice, Adam Kubert. Look at that. This is before he went over to Wolverine. A lot of people were probably more familiar with his father, of course, Joe Kubert. And then his brother started drawing, Andy Kubert. And then this guy just kind of came out of nowhere. And to me, I was always a little more of an Adam Kubert fan than I was an Andy Kubert fan. But this also collects Venom, Lethal Protector. And of course, material for Marvel Comics Presents 117 to 122. And that is the Sam Keith, yeah, right here, Venom versus Wolvie. And material from Amazing Spider-Man 373 to 375. So this right here, 373 and 375, the material from here, it leads directly into Lethal Protector. So this is when things change for Venom. Like, we go from being, a villain to more of an anti-hero. He swears an oath. At first it is David Michelinie and Mark Bagley. I have no idea how the heck Mark Bagley was keeping a schedule. But then I think later on it becomes Ron Lim. This is a 6-issue miniseries. Yeah, here's the Ron Lim stuff. Introduces us to more symbiotes like Scream. Symbiotes, whatever. I don't care what the movies call them. It's always been symbiotes to me. But then again, this is the Uncanny Omar, and I freaking mispronounced so much. So all 6 issues are collected in here. Sam De La Rosa providing the inks. And this is when Venom, became this anti-hero. So more like the Punisher, less like Carnage. Because I guess now they had a real super villain with Carnage. The book retails for $44.99, and it has 480 pages. Let's look in the back here for some extras. The scans, by the way, on, I think it's issue 6 only. Yeah. A couple of pages are just a little bit off. Seems like the scans weren't well done. Just for a couple of pages. The rest of the book looks good. Now, here we go. I have always loved this piece right here by Bart Sears. So here's what we're looking at, some of the extras. I've had that trade paperback for years. Then I ended up replacing it with, I think, the Spider-Man Epic Collection. And some more pinup stuff, trade paperback pinups. Yeah, by this point, Venom was just becoming a thing. He was blowing up. That is badass. I've never seen this. This is I know it's in the omnibus, but I mean, I've never seen this cover as far as a trade paperback. So this is the Simon Beasley cover for Lethal Protector from 1995. The different printings. There's the gold printing right there, the gold foil, the cards. Man, comic books in the 90s. They were a different type of beast. And all the different new colored gem variants, I think is what some of these are called. And trade paperback covers. Last but certainly not least, Spectacular Spider-Man, Marvel Masterworks, Volume 4. So we are getting into the Roger Stern run. This collects Spectacular Spider-Man 43 to 55 and Annual Number 2. Again, giving this just the wonderful Masterworks treatment. It's a beautiful leather-bound book. Or fake leather, really, but still looks wonderful. And we have a beautiful introduction here. I love reading these introductions. And these are stories I read years ago. There was essential collections of these at one time. And then I owned some of them. But this is Roger Stern talking about how, he got the job. And I wouldn't suggest reading the introduction until after you read the book. It's because there's some things in here that might spoil. Because he does talk about Madame Belladonna and what his idea was for her. And if you don't know who she is, because she's introduced through the very first thing that he wrote, then, probably skip on the intro. But what I love about his intros is how much heart he puts into these things. Roy Thomas is the same way. But just all the memories he has, and then he thinks, like, we did this. He keeps saying we. And over here he says, I always say we because I never could have produced any of this without my many collaborators. And he remembers all the people that have gone before us, like Marie Severin's work you'll find in here, Jim Mooney, Mike Esposito, Frank Springer, Joe Rosen, and of course Dennis O'Neil, who kind of put it all together. So, kicking it off with this issue right here, which also introduces us to this character right there, Roderick Kingsley, who is a fashion designer, but will play a bigger role in Spider-Man's life, in Amazing Spider-Man. So speaking of Amazing Spider-Man, if you have the Roger Stern Omnibus, then you already have these stories. You already have all of this. with the exception of the annual that's collected in here. And here's where we get Marie Severin. That first issue was done by Mike Zeck, who eventually blew up because of Secret Wars. He had an awesome run on Captain America. He's a great artist. And this is Marie Severin, who always liked to sneak in some of the creators in there. You'll see some appearances by like Len Wein. Even Uncle Raj makes an appearance there as one of the detectives. But you have Rick Leonardi's like one of the earliest works in here. It's a great collection, and a lot of it I remember because of the omnibus, of course, and the essentials. All right, this is awesome. This is when he decides, Roger Stern decides that Spider-Man, he could probably take down this guy named the Cobra. Cobra just seems like a wimp to be fighting somebody like Thor, so he brings him into the pages of Spectacular Spider-Man. And there's more of Madame Belladonna, which introduces us to a new Prowler. Because the old Prowler gave up being the Prowler. So who is this new Prowler? Here we have the Smuggler, who we don't think we ever see him again. And yes, we have an alien invasion. So it's like one story leading into another. Spectacular Spider-Man is one of those books that just... I don't know how we don't have epics or an omnibus of this. But I will say that maybe that will be remedied soon. Here we have the White Tiger storyline. So there were some backups in the previous issues that had White Tiger, a character created by Bill Mantlo and George Perez, the very first Latino really superhero. I think he was from Puerto Rico, so it was a big deal to a lot of Hispanic people that we had a Hispanic superhero. And they kind of give him a send-off. Not like, oh, they're going to kill him, but I think it was a good send-off because he wanted Bill Mantlo to tackle the character in the pages of Hulk. However, he never did. And we did have like a Frank Miller, because this one right here, this cover, issue 51, is a cover by Frank Miller. And I believe right here is this one here is penciled by Jim Mooney, and you have Frank Springer as providing the inks of this particular issue. Just wanted to show the differences in the type of art in here. Because Marie Severin did a few of these, and her final issue of Spectacular Spider-Man is collected in this particular Masterworks. Luke McDonnell, who was also new to Marvel Comics with the fight here with Nitro, the guy that's responsible for Captain Marvel. And then we have some house ads. The book retails for $75 and has 328 pages. Some original art here by Marie Severin and Bruce Patterson. Ouch. And then, of course, the biographies that they always put towards the end of the books of these Masterwork editions. And that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing any of these books, don't forget to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They pride themselves on packaging your books so they arrive safely in an excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. Check out the bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. CGN is excited to announce that they are now taking pre-orders. They're making it easier for you to ensure that you don't miss out on the hottest releases. CGN is currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, let them know that you were referred by Near Mint Condition at the checkout, and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. This promotion is valid for U.S. customers only. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount and quality shipping and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And those were the books that were coming out this week. Don't forget, there's also the Doctor Strange Epic Collection that's being reprinted this week, and those usually have a smaller print run. But these are the epics, the Marvel Masterworks, and of course, continuing the War of the Bounty Hunters. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We are on Spreadshop and on Patreon. Amazing ways to support the channel if you can do so. And more importantly, everyone, stay healthy, stay safe, much love.